This is Block 11, Reagan's Revolution, Section 1, Modern American Conservatism, with the section, the New Republican Party. So what was this New Republican Party? That if you started in 1932, really you have Roosevelt's 4 wins, Truman won, Eisenhower pretty much runs as a New Deal person, Kennedy in 1960, Johnson in 1964, Nixon in 68 and 72, Carter in 76. You have 2 generations of electoral politics based on a Democratic dominance, or at least kind of the dominance of that liberal establishment. But in the 1970s, the FDR's New Deal coalition will come apart, and it will be the Republican Party building a new coalition that will allow the Republican Party to dominate American politics from 1980 through the first years of the 21st century. So who makes up this new modern Republican Party? And that is still to this day, this is the modern Republican Party. 3 groups. The Republican Party had been torn between isolationists and Cold Warriors since the 1940s. The Cold Warriors won. The traditional Republican isolationism was no more, and was replaced by a willingness to fight the Cold War, stand up with military strength for American interests around the world, and their watchword was peace through strength. That the only way to establish a peaceful world was to establish a world where the United States was a dominant power, willing to use its force when necessary to defend its interest. And when the United States was strong, people who wanted to challenge the United States would think twice about doing so due to our overwhelming strength. So the first group in this new Republican coalition is Americans who believe in a strong, powerful defense, national defense. The second thing taps into that very old, very traditional distrust of central government, going all the way back to Thomas Jefferson. By the 1970s, that small government conservatism is focused in the West, and it finds a new home in the Republican Party. Small government conservatives bemoan the spending of the New Deal, and especially the Great Society. They say this is billions upon billions of dollars being sunk into projects, with no appreciable gain. They believe that all of this welfare spending tore families apart. They believed it made people too dependent on the government. They believed that the taxation required by it dragged the U.S. economy down. And they believe that the government that governs less, the government that governs least governs best. They disliked the subsidies, they disliked the tax breaks, the tax loopholes that went to big corporations. Small government conservatives, or limited government conservatives, were another very important leg in the new Republican coalition. They achieved kind of one of their first big successes in 1978 when the voters of California, which used to be a Republican state, approved what was known as Proposition 13. Proposition 13 was an amendment to the California Constitution that restricted how much the politicians in California could raise property taxes. And this mood, this anti-tax mood, the idea that Uncle Sam was taking too much, that taxes were too high, became the foundation of the Republican Party's economic message for the next 25 years. That, from 1980 until now, Republicans have been the party of lower taxes. And the third leg of the stool were social conservatives who believed in traditional family values. They were animated by the vast changes of the 1960s. They reacted to those changes. They fought to defend Christianity against abortion, against divorce. They fought to maintain and try to hold on to what they considered to be the traditional middle-class Protestant values that made the United States the powerful country it was, in their opinion. So those 3 groups together, who don't necessarily have anything in common, social conservatives, small government conservatives, and some people would call them national greatness conservatives, people who believe in a strong national defense, became the foundation of the Republican Party in the last 20 years of the 20th century, and they remain the foundation of the Republican Party to this day.